The Netherlands is a seemingly fragile country. Geographically, it has written an epic story of humanity's struggle against the ferocious forces of nature. The Netherlands is a small country in Western Europe with an area of approximately 41,543 square kilometers. This country is known for its land area, which is largely below sea level, making it one of the most vulnerable countries to flooding. About 26% of the Netherlands lies below sea level, while 55% of the country's land area is highly vulnerable to flooding, both from the sea and rivers. Meanwhile, approximately 60% of the population, or approximately 10 million people, live in areas below sea level, which include several major cities such as Den Haag, Rotterdam, and Amsterdam. The lowland nature of the Netherlands is actually caused by several natural and man-made factors. The large rivers flowing through the country have carried sediment and mud to the lowlands for thousands of years. This sedimentation process creates fertile soil, but also lowers the land elevation. Furthermore, the land in the Netherlands continues to slowly subside due to human activities, such as groundwater extraction and peatland drainage. In the past, the Netherlands extensively exploited peatlands for fuel. Draining the peat causes the soil to shrink and collapse, lowering it below sea level. This peat exploitation significantly accelerated elevation loss in some areas of the Netherlands. Because the land is lower than sea level, the Netherlands has always been at war with, or even friendly to, flooding. Throughout history, the Netherlands has faced the constant threat of flooding, particularly from the North Sea. In 1421, the Netherlands experienced the St. Elizabeth flood, one of the worst floods in its history. This flood, which occurred on November 19, 1421, is estimated to have claimed around 2,000 lives and turned vast tracts of agricultural land into unusable swamps. On November 1, 1570, the Netherlands also experienced the All Saints' Day flood, considered one of the greatest natural disasters in Europe in the 16th century. At that time, a massive wave caused by a violent storm in the North Sea inundated the entire coastal area. As a result, around 20,000 people lost their lives, and several Dutch villages and towns were completely destroyed. Then, the floods of January 31st and February 1953 were the most tragic in modern Dutch history. A massive storm struck the country with devastating force, tearing through dikes, destroying homes, fields, and lives. The tidal wave exceeded the dike height in some areas and caused devastating breaches in more than 50 places. As a result, more than 1,000 people died, more than 47,300 buildings were damaged, and approximately 100,000 hectares of land were submerged in salt water. However, the Dutch did not give up. The 1953 disaster spurred them to undertake major reforms in water management. The Dutch struggle against water began in ancient times, when their ancestors built earthen mounds that served as the first protection against the notoriously violent floods of the North Sea. In the 11th century, local communities began building earthen mounds as flood shelters. These first dikes were local and limited, but they were the first steps in water management. However, nature never stands still. Because in the 12th century, devastating tidal waves brought unimaginable disasters. This made the Dutch realize that they had to develop smarter and more innovative ways to combat the water, or else they would drown along with their dreams. As the population and the need for agricultural land increased, the Dutch began building canal systems that connected various regions and allowed water to drain away from low-lying areas. These canals were initially used to drain peatlands and create fertile soil. One of the most important examples from this period is the Beemster polder. Then, in the 15th century, windmill technology was introduced as a solution for pumping water from the polders below sea level. These windmills were used to channel water to higher canals, where it could be discharged into rivers or the sea. Famous windmills, such as those in Kinderdijk, are part of this innovative system. Then, from the 16th to the 17th century, land reclamation became more extensive and systematic. Under the supervision of skilled engineers, the Dutch reclaimed land from the sea and lakes, creating large polders protected by a system of dikes and windmills. One of the largest projects was the Haarlemmermeer polder, which transformed the lake into fertile agricultural land in the 19th century. Subsequently, water drainage technology continued to develop with the addition of improved drainage systems, including the use of steam-powered water pumps in the 19th century. These pumps enabled deeper and faster polder drainage, replacing windmills as the primary technology. As previously mentioned, in 1953, the Netherlands experienced one of the most devastating floods in its history, when a major storm struck the North Sea. This flood caused more than 10,000 deaths, destroyed more than 47,300 buildings, and inundated 100,000 hectares of land with salt water. This disaster marked a turning point in the Dutch fight against flooding. After the flood, the Netherlands designed and built the Delta Works project, a series of dams, sluice gates, and embankments designed to protect the Netherlands from storms in the North Sea. One of the most important components of the Delta Works is a giant dam with gates that can be closed at high tide. The project was completed in 1997 and is considered one of the wonders of the modern world. The Delta Works is a highly complex project, costing over 5 billion euros. The project consists of more than 16,500 kilometers of embankments, sluice gates, and embankments spread along the Dutch coast, transforming the threat of water into something that can be controlled. With this project, the Netherlands is saying to the sea, "We will survive whatever happens." In addition to the Delta Works, the Netherlands continues to develop innovations in water management with the Space for Rivers project. This project aims to provide more space for large rivers to overflow naturally during flood season, which can reduce the risk of flooding in the lower reaches. Space for Rivers is one of the most significant innovative projects of the last decade. The Netherlands recognizes that simply building higher embankments will not solve the problem. Therefore, they decided to make peace with water by giving large rivers more room to overflow naturally. Instead of forcing the water to submit, the Dutch allowed rivers to flow into specially designed areas to accommodate excess water. This not only reduced pressure on the levees, but also allowed the river ecosystem to recover naturally. In this project, the Dutch not only built higher levees, but also created artificial floodplains that allowed rivers to overflow without causing damage. By returning parts of low-lying land to their natural state, flood risks could be better controlled without damaging the ecosystem. In facing the challenges of climate change and sea level rise, the Netherlands continues to innovate with highly sophisticated approaches. One of their modern innovations is floating houses developed in vulnerable areas like Amsterdam and Rotterdam. These houses are built above water and designed to adapt to rising water levels. The Netherlands has also developed a smart polder system that uses digital technology to automatically monitor and control water levels based on weather data and water conditions. This technology allows for a faster response to flood threats and extreme weather changes. despite facing geographical challenges because much of its territory is below sea level and is prone to flooding. The Netherlands has successfully developed a highly productive agricultural system and become one of the world's largest agricultural exporters. This success in Dutch agriculture is supported by various innovations and technologies, which enable agricultural land to remain fertile, despite facing challenging geographical conditions and challenges. To address these challenges, the Netherlands has implemented a number of agricultural system innovations, ranging from sophisticated water management to sustainable agricultural technology. The Netherlands has built a canal system throughout the country to drain water from agricultural land and direct it to rivers and the sea. They have also developed a polder system, which is land reclaimed from the sea or lakes and protected by dikes built along the coast and rivers. To protect the polders from high tides and flooding, this land is kept dry by a sophisticated drainage system. This system allows agricultural land to remain usable, even if it is located below sea level or in areas prone to flooding. The Netherlands has approximately 17,500 kilometers of dikes, including main dikes and secondary dikes. In addition, the Dutch built pumps and windmills. Initially, windmills were used to pump water out of polders into higher canals. However, modern electric pumps have replaced watermills. Water from polders is continuously pumped out to ensure the soil remains dry and fertile. In the 16th and 17th centuries, windmills in the Netherlands reached their peak and began to be used for various purposes. At that time, there were approximately 10,000 windmills scattered throughout the country. Today, the Netherlands still has approximately 1,200 traditional windmills in operation, many of which are preserved as cultural heritage. The Netherlands also implements smart farming, or precision farming, a system that uses digital technology and data to monitor and manage agricultural land more efficiently. This system includes the use of satellite sensors and sophisticated software to monitor soil moisture, weather conditions, and plant nutrient needs. With this system, farmers can use real-time data to determine when and where their land needs irrigation. This is particularly important in the Netherlands, given the crucial role water management plays. By properly monitoring soil conditions, farmers can reduce the use of fertilizers that can pollute water and soil. In addition to polder systems and smart farming, the Netherlands is also a world leader in greenhouse technology, which plays a crucial role in agricultural production. In the Netherlands, more than 25,000 hectares of land are used for greenhouse farming. This technology allows for the year-round cultivation of a wide variety of crops, including vegetables, fruits, and flowers. Modern greenhouses in the Netherlands are equipped with closed irrigation systems that help conserve water. These greenhouses use a highly efficient drip irrigation system, where the water used can be recycled. These greenhouses also utilize climate control systems. Through automation, the temperature, humidity, and light inside the greenhouse can be optimally controlled, creating optimal growing conditions for plants. The Netherlands has also developed aquaponics and hydroponic systems, soil-less farming methods that are highly water-efficient and well-suited to wetland conditions. Hydroponics is a method of growing plants in a nutrient-rich water solution. Meanwhile, aquaponics combines fish farming with crops, where fish waste is used to fertilize the plants. This method not only saves water, but also allows the Netherlands to continuously increase agricultural productivity on limited land, using fewer water resources. Furthermore, the Netherlands places a strong focus on agricultural waste management and nutrient cycling. Waste from livestock and agriculture is recycled into organic fertilizer and biogas, which helps reduce dependence on fossil fuels and enriches the soil with sustainable nutrients. As a small country in Western Europe, with a geography that is highly vulnerable to flooding, the intelligent agricultural systems developed by the Netherlands have given the country several advantages. The Netherlands is the second largest agricultural exporter in the world after the United States, with agricultural exports reaching €94.5 billion in 2019. The use of smart agricultural technology has enabled water use in agriculture to be up to 50% more efficient than traditional methods. Meanwhile, hydroponic and aquaponic farming in this country has reduced water use by up to 90% compared to conventional farming. So, despite all its innovations and successes, the Netherlands' war on water is an unfinished story. Rising sea levels, increasingly unpredictable rainfall due to climate change, and continued pressure from the North Sea are real threats that this country will continue to face. However, if there's one thing Dutch history teaches us, it's that they never stop innovating and never give in to circumstances. Even when a storm comes, whenever a water threat looms, the Dutch are always ready. Their levees may crack, their rivers may overflow, but their spirit will never waver. In this country, humans have not only survived against nature, but they have conquered it with ingenuity, determination, and relentless innovation. They have shown the world that while we cannot stop the forces of nature, we can learn to coexist with it, even in the most extreme conditions.